5 minutes past 8 here on 101.5. It's officially a SportsFeva time. Peter Swampy Marsh here in the studio. Now, Swamp, I've suggested to me that we need a theme song for the show, so I'm going to open it up. We're on Facebook for anyone that doesn't know. We're on, just look up on Facebook, SportsFeva 101.5 FM. Now, I've had this suggestion. I've never heard this song before, but someone said, what about Fever from Cascadia? I don't know. Do you know the song?
I don't
know. We're going to play it. Give us some feedback, but any other suggestions over the next couple of weeks? Throw us a song if you've heard about, it might be about sport or it's got the word fever in it, something like that. Look, we're open to suggestions. You got any suggestions?
Oh, I don't. I'm not a big music buff, Matty, so I'm happy to take your lead here.
Well, put it out there, maybe give it a run in the papers or something, Swamp. Just put it out to the public, see what they want.
Pages.
Yeah, well, it's what people want to know. So we'll play our song and we'll be back. It's 7 minutes past 8 here on 101.5. I don't know about that for our theme song, Swamp, but a bit ordinary. We better find another one. But time to talk to one of the good friends of the show. It's whenever the Dolphins have a home game, we get on their number one ticket holder. We're, of course, talking about Rupert McCall. Big good morning to you, Rupert.
G'day, mate. I hope the boys playing songs like that in their headphones.
Well, it was someone suggested it. It was called Fever, and they thought it might be a nice fit for the show. I think I've been stitched up, but anyway, time now to talk some Dolphins. And Rupert, we need a bit of a lift, don't we?
I think more than a bit. Yeah, we need a significant lift on what's transpired over the last few weeks, I guess, boys. And the last time we spoke, we realised then that we had to lift, and now we're a couple of weeks down the track, and it hasn't gotten any better, has it?
No, it hasn't. And last time we spoke, we thought, okay, we're in a bit of a hole, but we've still got the personnel there to dig us out. But that has changed since, of course, we last spoke, Rupert, because our star halfback and Queensland Cup Player of the Year last year, Luke Rocky Capewell has made the decision to sign with Penrith for the rest of the year, so that's left a big hole at the number 7 jersey as well.
Yeah, it has, mate. I always thought that when Rocky was playing well and guiding the field around the team, that we were in good shape and that anything was possible. Well, that's gone now, so we just have to put that out of the equation and focus on what we've got and what we can achieve with that material, with those ingredients. And it will be better when young Zach Strasser comes back, but again, we have to focus on this week and make sure that we get back in the winner's circle, and then when Zach comes back and Joey Bond can revert back to fullback, and we can start to get some momentum and some confidence. But we haven't been too far away, to be honest. The game against Ipswich on the weekend, even though Ipswich had some adversity with their bench and penalties, we're only a try away from winning that. The game against North, we didn't play very well at all, but again, we're only a try away from winning it. It might be a mental thing that these guys have to get through to rediscover the habit of winning again.
And Roop, the big news filtering out sort of during the week, he was out of the game very quickly last week against Ipswich, was Troy Geese, and unfortunately the prognosis not looking good for GC, going to spend a significant amount of time on the sidelines with a broken wrist. So a really frustrating season for GC after starting so well and being so fired up. Yes,
Troy's going in for surgery today, I believe, and that could well be the season. When it rains, it pours. The bounce of the ball tends to, avoid the side that's, started the season as favourites and now have blown out to $11 on the betting markets. Thanks, Tom Waterhouse. Let's not go down that track either. But things have changed. But it will be a good challenge. It'll be a good challenge to see how we deal with this adversity, and ultimately, when you pull on the red and white jersey, as I've said so many times before, it doesn't matter who you are or what grade you played last week or where you started the season. It's all about now, and it's all about the game at hand. And it's all about filing in behind Petro Civoniceva and running out on Sunday afternoon and being very, very proud about the club and the opportunity that lies ahead.
I guess if to take anything out of out of the injuries and losing Kate Wells, it's happening earlier in the season. We've still got a great chance to recover. Some results have gone our way. We're still very much in the mix come finals time. If we can start to turn things around, definitely in the next couple of weeks we've got to turn things around. And what better way to turn around against a real rival over many years. We've played them in grand finals. Of course, the Burleigh Bears this Sunday. I can guess the rot stops now, so to speak, on Sunday if we can knock over our old rivals, the Bears.
Absolutely, Matty, and that's where it's got to start this Sunday. I seem to recall a few seasons back, the Northern Pride being in a world of hurt and maybe getting beaten by 40 or 50 one weekend, and then just deciding that the next weekend they were going to turn it around. They did, and they won the next 14 or 15 straight and ended up winning the flag. So, rugby league is like any sport. Momentum is precious, and if you can build that into your season and get the feeling right, get the combinations settled, that's probably where we need to start to look at getting a side on the paddock that's going to do the job, and I'm sure that we can do the job this Sunday against Burleigh. It is a great rivalry, and there's plenty to play for. That's an understatement. Yeah,
absolutely, and a big congratulations to Wes Middleton, who will make his first grade debut for the Dolphins at fullback on at the weekend. The other thing about Sunday too, I've got to encourage people, get out and watch the game, but try and get there early at 11:30 and watch the Colts, because Brendan Lamb has really got those guys firing, and they're the defending premiers, but they're playing some really good rugby league again.
Yes, they are, and it sets the trend for the day, doesn't it? When the Colts run out and put a good performance together and get the scoreboard ticking over it. I imagine that the feeling around the club with the teams that follow the Fogs and the Premier Graders and the supporters and just the atmosphere at Dolphin Oval, it gets things off on the right foot. And our Colts, they've been a very important part of the club for many years, and there's no different this year. And young Jared Cherry leading up front, who I believe is going to be a father. I saw on Facebook recently, so I mean he'll have a bit extra to play for. And Alex Bishop, there's a couple of guys that were there last year and that are back this year, and certainly it's a game worth getting there to see at 11:30 on Sunday.
Roop, as tends to happen at this time of the year, with State of Origin selections filter all the way down at the rugby league community, and what it has given is some Dolphins affiliated players a wonderful chance in the Broncos team to play the Warriors on Monday night, with Nick Sliney named to start and Aaron Whitchurch on an extended bench. So wonderful to see those boys getting their chance in a young Broncos team come Monday night.
Yeah, is Denon Kemp? I think.
Yeah, Kempy's there as well. Yeah.
Yeah, how good. These guys, but you play the game for those opportunities. So it's the big time. That's NRL. That's Monday Night Football against a Warriors side coming off a win last weekend, and Nick Sliney. Well, I mean, he's just all quality, that kid, and I just love to see him run out for Redcliffe, and when he gets his opportunity for the Broncos, you just know that it's so much deserved, and that certainly applies to the other boys as well, Aaron Whitchurch and Denon Kemp. So yeah, that's what it's all about. You play for your club and you play to win, but ultimately we're trying to sort of pave the way for our boys at Redcliffe, to take the next step up and to get that opportunity and to do well in a Broncos jersey, and who knows what after that. Well, a couple of nights later it's State of Origin. So, I mean, you talk about that sort of thing, and it wasn't that long that Adam Mogg was playing for Redcliffe, and then a few seasons later he's playing for Queensland and winning a Man of the Match award. So anything and everything is possible when you cherish those rugby league dreams.
You do, and bring up great memories of the Mogsters scoring those 2 tries. What great memories they were. We can't wait for Sunday, and then we can't wait for next Wednesday night. Rupert, we'll see you out there on Sunday at Dolphin Oval. Colts at 11:30, and main game kicks off 3 p.m. Thanks for joining us on SportsFeva this morning.
Thanks, Matty. Thanks, Swampy. The time has come, boys, to turn things around, and Saturday afternoon will be on for young and old at Dolphin Oval. I'll see you there.
Beauty. Thanks, Rupert.
Cheers, Rupert.
Cheers. pumps us up as always. Swampy can't wait for a big afternoon at Dolphin Oval on a Sunday. Like we said, that disappointing for GC that wrist injury gone for the year most likely. So, but like we said, time to turn it around for the Finns.
Yeah, and look, there's no better time than a Sunday afternoon. And we're talking to our good friend John Sloan, and he said that they weren't that far away against Ipswich, and they certainly weren't that far away against North. You and I were there. They let North take a massive lead, and really locked them down defensively after that. After waking up sort of in the 15th minute, so they're not that far away. But when you look at the table, it does seem like a while. And the good thing about it is though that this Intrust Super Cup table is very congested. I think the Finns are only 4 or 5 points behind the leaders. So if you can string a couple of wins together, you can find yourself in the top half of the ladder very, very quickly. So that is one thing going very much in the Finns' favour, and there's still a lot of the season to play. So they can start with a win here and start to build some of these combinations back and find some form. There's still very much a chance to make the finals.
Yeah, no, fingers crossed for the Finns. And by the way, I've got some payback for that person that suggested that song for our... Jeez, that was a fair income stitch-up, wasn't it? Yeah, but anyway, I should have had a listen before I played it.
I expected some guitars and maybe some drums, but instead we've got a bass line.
We're putting the request out there. Try and find us a theme song for SportsFeva. But Fever from Cascadia, gone. No way. No way, Jose. I'm going to get that captured where I've thrown to a One Direction song and you've fist pumped it and said this was better. That was very interesting.
Guitars and drums, you stitched me up.
I couldn't script it better to say that you would like the One Direction song. Time now to talk some more sport and time to talk to our good friends from the Caboolture Lions. And joining us on the line from the Caboolture Lions, their president, Peter Smith. Good morning to you.
Good morning, boys. How are you?
We're very good, and a wonderful day for the Caboolture Lions yesterday, Pete. Give us a bit of a rundown of the big guest that you had in town to visit the new facilities.
Yes, it was a major event. Mr. Andrew Demetrio to attend our facility at Burpengary and have a walk through. Plenty of media there following him. And basically, I suppose, to open the facility to a certain degree without the official opening.
Pete, it was a bit of a dream. We followed the progress of the facility there to have it reach this kind of size. Was it a bit of a surprise, sort of almost pinch yourself moment when you heard that the AFL Supremo would be coming to have a look and open things up?
Look, it's massive for AFL in the region, the Moreton Bay region, to have someone of his position to come to our facility and acknowledge that it is going to be, I suppose you can call it a state-of-the-art facility. And to walk through, and in his speech, he put a lot of praise onto the council in relation to their vision of building such a facility, not only for AFL in the region, but for other events as well. And it's just put Burpengary on the map, mate, as far as AFL goes.
Absolutely, and a real destination, hopefully now, for footy between the Sunshine Coast and some of those sort of outer suburbs of Brisbane. There's a real, I suppose, void, if you will, of those top-class facilities, and hopefully this is going to be able to fill that. How is all the construction rolling along there at the moment, Pete? Weather's been relatively good, thankfully. Is it progressing well?
Mate, it's been a long journey, but yes, the clubhouse and amenities, I was told yesterday, will be completed next month, in June. The sand goes down on the ovals over the next 2 to 3 weeks, and turf not long after that. So we're hoping by, I suppose, July, the turf's down. There was a point post and a goal post up, so that was positive. So I would say by end of July, the turf will be down, and hopefully pre-season training there.
And everyone driving along the Bruce Highway probably has seen it, sort of between the Ormond Road overpass there and the servos. It's going to get a little bit, you can see through the trees on the highway, see a few light posts going up. Has that been exciting as you've been driving past, Pete, to see that come up and this dream that's been so long in the making come to a bit of fruition?
Yeah, look, it's one of our guys at the club, our historian Kev Matthews, wrote a little bit of history about the events it's taken, and it's a 10-year journey that we've had to get to the stage. And I actually gave a copy of that to Andrew and Michael Conlon, the CEO of AFL Queensland, and it's a long journey, and to get it to this stage is fantastic. But I must say that again that Andrew did give a big rap to the Moreton Bay Region Council for their vision to have such a facility, because it's not just AFL, as I said, that will benefit from it. You know, we've got the Commonwealth Games coming up, with the hopes and the possibility of visiting countries maybe using this facility as well. So it's positive all around.
Absolutely, and of course, probably the biggest announcement there was that he sort of threw his full support behind the idea of a possible NAB Cup game being played at the facility once it's completed a few years down the line, and I suppose that was the ultimate dream that the Brisbane Lions perhaps in pre-season may be able to use it as a training facility once or twice, or even host a NAB Cup game and really bring that in the community and boost the profile of Aussie rules up north, which is wonderful to hear Andrew throw his support behind that.
Yeah, look, to have a NAB Cup game, there was one at Maroochydore a couple of years ago. There was 5,000 people attended. There was one up in, I think it was Townsville, there was 8,000 attended. And this facility, there's no reason why we can't sort of reach those sort of numbers for people to come and watch a NAB Cup game in Burpengary, which is fantastic. And obviously this rides off the Ackermanis event over at Bribie Island last weekend, and it's just good. Very good for the game. And
lending the Bulldogs a hand there on the field was Acker, and I believe they did the job comfortably over their opponents, so must still have a bit in the tank. Looking on the field for the Lions, though, Pete, of course, a big season this year coming up into Division 2. We spoke to Graham O'Brien at the start of the year, but a bit of a tough season on the paddock so far as the boys sort of adjust to that high level of competition.
Yeah, look, in the first 6 rounds we've played the top 4 sides, it's been a reality check. We've had one good win. We led for 3 quarters last week against the Hornets, and unfortunately went down by 20 odd points. But what it's showing, we're improving each week, and these young kids coming through, the Charlie Driffields and Hayden Jeffries, the under-16 boys, and some other kids that have come up out of the 18s into senior football as well, that the improvement is showing. And the back end of the season, we play probably the middle of the range sides. Unfortunately, we've got Cooperoo this week, which is took Robina to a few points loss. And then the following week we're back up against Yeronga again. So we've had a pretty tough run to start the season, but we're hoping to come home pretty good at the tail end of the season.
Wonderful just to be competing in that high division, Pete, of course, as the move to those new facilities does come around. And just, I'm not sure if we did get it earlier, but I think still on track to be sort of in there, settled and ready to go by the start of the season next year.
Yeah, hoping for pre-season, November pre-season at the new facility, and I suppose it comes down to whether the turf's going to be right for those sort of things. But just to have 3 fields to train on with the extension of our club. The juniors are growing. We've got ladies teams this year. We're hoping to get our 18s back again next year. And there's 2 Masters teams running around at Caboolture as well. So, it's certainly a club that's on the up and growing in the region.
Pete, incredibly exciting times for the Caboolture Lions at the moment, and incredibly exciting times for the whole region with Andrew Demetrio dropping in yesterday. We really appreciate your time this morning, Pete, and we'll definitely have to get back on later in the year. Cheers for coming on.
Absolute pleasure, and thanks for having us.
Cheers, Pete. Thanks very much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Peter Smith, president of the Caboolture Lions, and some really great things happening. It's been a long time coming, as Peter said, Swamp, but it makes it all much sweeter that we're nearly there.
Yeah, I followed this for a little while, Matty, and it was sort of a hope and this facility was sort of a build it and they will come kind of attitude. Once we had the facility, they were hopeful that they were going to be able to attract things like the AFL pre-season, and to have someone as big in the game as Andrew coming in before the facility's even finished, touring it, opening it, saying some immensely positive things about it is just full credit to the work done by the Lions and done by the council to really have the vision of this facility. And it's just wonderful stuff. I mean, we're so lucky every year to have the Broncos come out and bring an NRL pre-season match to Dolphin Oval. Wouldn't it be wonderful for the whole Moreton Bay region to have an AB Cup match played here as well? So just wonderful stuff and great for sport all round in the region.
Yeah, real boost for Moreton Bay region sport. 28 minutes past 8, time for a word from our sponsors. 27 to 9 here on 101.5 years to SportsFeva with Matthew and Swampy. Not a bad tune, that one, Swamp, Blurred Lines.
Great tune.
Don't mind that one.
Maybe we can have it as the SportsFeva.
Yeah, it probably doesn't fit the profile, but not a bad tune. We'll put it in the mix anyway. Time now to talk some Sunny Coast and Gympie Rugby League, Swamp. Just before, how do we go in the tipping comp last week, Swamp? You and me head to head, mate. Just so I haven't looked at the results. How do we go?
You haven't?
No, I haven't checked up. How do we go?
Credit where it's due. You did me, Matty. You did me 3-2 this week. Of course, the one different game we had was the Seagulls and the Dolphins, and look, in Bruff, he trusts. You should get that.
Mate, I loved Family Feud, and I'm always going to stick with Bruffy.
There you go. So the Kiwana Dolphins keeping that. And look, I haven't done the homework, Matty. I'm very sorry, but the Kiwana Dolphins keeping that.
You've been on the show for 2 years. I gave you homework once.
I was a good student too back in my school days, so I've dropped off.
You have.
The Kiwana Dolphins, anyway, doing the job over the Bribie Island Seagulls. 36-12 winners there. The Dolphins, so Robbie Bruff has kept them rolling along very nicely.
The survey says the Kiwana Dolphins still unbeaten. Now, I'll put it out because you couldn't help me, and you still, if you can find it in the next week, I'll appreciate it. But I'll put it out to listeners if anyone knows the record in the Sunshine Coast Gympie Rugby League for consecutive wins, because I think the Dolphins, unless there's a team in the 80s that won for 3 seasons straight that I don't know about, I'd say the Dolphins are very close to breaking some type of record.
Would have to be, and it's a great run, and look, it will come to an end,
maybe not,
possibly come to an end this weekend.
Not
possibly.
Bruffy's team.
In the other results, Matty, look, the Devils, they got home by the skin of their teeth, and the luckless Caloundra Sharks haven't got a win this season and went down courtesy of a field goal. 33-32 win there for the Devils to be the only undefeated team in the competition this season with the Dolphins. So the Gympie Devils, look, we said in that pre-season stuff, Matty, that they were perhaps foxing a little bit and were going to turn good come season time, and they certainly had with 3 straight wins. In the other game, we both tipped the Pirates to come good, and look, there some troubles at the Pirates. Perhaps the Nambour Crushers going up to Pirate Park and coming away 36-0 winners. So
still no Goldthorpe there, and questions whether he'll be back for the season. So interesting times and a lot going on around that. So we probably won't go into that today, but we might follow up on that in a couple of weeks with the Goldthorpe injury.
And you and I both tipped the Snakies, and with good reason. They got over Maroochydore Coolum 38-32 in the A grade, and took out all 3 grades in the weekend. The only club to claim all 3 grades in the entire weekend of competition there, the Snakies. So a wonderful win there, and good to see them get back on the winning horse.
From all reports, it was a great day out at the Snake Pit. Everyone had a lot of fun and some real quality football. And I just Chuck Tomlinson tipped us off at the start of the year about how good these 18s. Everyone is telling me. I walk down the street and people just randomly say, "Hey, go and watch the Snakes under 18s." This is true. Like I was at Andre's party and they said, "Have you seen the Caboolture under 18s play? They're a great team. They're a team to watch."
Yeah, a big win there. I think it was 42-12 or something. So they're definitely a very exciting team. So worth getting out early if you're catching any home games at the Snake Pit to watch the 18s run around.
Turning our attention to this week's game, and it's the Battle of Moreton Bay. The Caboolture Snakes take on the Bribie Island Seagulls at Bribie Island. That game is definitely at Bribie, Swamp, as far as we know. Which is great for that. I know due to the relationship that some of those games will be played at Stockland, but it's great that this Battle of Moreton Bay is being played at Bribie Island. That's great for Bribie Island Rugby League, and that should be a cracker, Swamp. Who are you tipping in that one?
Oh, it's a really interesting game because there's been plenty of pride on Bribie Island. It's taken a little bit of a dent over the last couple of years with the Snakies generally doing the business. But look, I can see the Seagulls winning this one. I really don't think the Snakes will be far off. They will be up for this one, guaranteed. But I think Bribie Island might just be able to bounce back from last week on their home turf with a parochial War Eagles / Sea Eagles crowd behind them. I think Bribey Island might do the business.
Please, Swampy, stick with the faith. Poor old Chuck Tomlinson, no wonder he'll never give you an interview. He just brushes you. You're not real solid.
Oh, no, I think it's going to be an absolutely cracking game of rugby league, and it wouldn't surprise me if Caboolture do get up. They will turn up.
Snakes are specials.
Snakes, there you go.
Specials, and that's, of course, Chuck Tomlinson, always great with his time, but I wouldn't blame him if he didn't give you an interview. Now, the other game is Nambour take on Maroochydore at Nambour. I'd say form lines there. Nambour good things this weekend.
Yeah, I think so. So the two sort of look to be middling teams of this competition this year, but Nambour with a very good win last week, so I'll back them in too.
Now we head to the Sunday games, and you've got the Caloundra Sharks taking on the Noosa Pirates, and as we mentioned, two teams probably struggling for a little bit of form, but I think this is where the Pirates bounce back at Shark Park. I'm
going to differ with you here, Matty. The Caloundra, after getting absolutely smacked by the Dolphins in round one, have not been far off the last 2 weeks, and the performance against Gympie last week says that it was one of those games that probably could have gone either way. So no Goldthorpe, no Noosa, I think could be the call. So
what about Scott Hill? You forget about him?
He's had 3 games.
He's had 3 games. Please, I'm getting very close to turning off your microphone. Now,
I'm going to go with Caloundra.
We've gone every game different, have we? Except Nambour.
Except Nambour.
And then the final game, Kawana Dolphins, the all-conquering Rob Bruff-led Kawana Dolphins taking on the Gympie Devils at Kawana.
Grand final replay. Lots of feeling. 2 undefeated teams. 2 cracker games in the competition to open and close it this weekend. I've gone first the last 3. You tell me who you're going for.
I've declared.
I'm Ruffy Trust.
I'm the biggest Rob Bruff fan around. Kawana are specials.
No, I'm going to go the Devils. They play possum in the pre-season. And
we're trying to tip the winners here. Do you know what this segment's about?
You know what? I know what Moody went under last year. I feel a little bit of sympathy for the big man.
I think Moody's got you covered.
No, I'm going to go with the Devils here. They'll be fired up after losing that grand final last year. So, Devils for me, Dolphins for you.
Very interesting. Well, we'll see. I think I'll kick away here in the season. What was the $500 to the winner you said? That was very good.
Can we catch up when you get the audio?
Well, we'll track it down. Now, quickly in the Red Rooster games on this weekend, Coolum take on Beachmere at Palmwoods, and the second game, that double header, is Palmwoods taking on Mary Valley. And then we see Kawana and Beerwar do battle at Yandina at 1:30, and Yandina and Pomona take on at Yandina at 3 p.m. So, great afternoon of Sunshine Coast Gympie Rugby League, including the Red Rooster Cup and A-grade right across the weekend. And the Brisbane women's game this weekend is Burleigh Heads take on Biwa at Narang at 3 p.m. So good luck to Biwa in that one. Of course, the Owies have the bye this week, so good luck, and of course follow on the SportsFeva Facebook page for updates on that Caboolture Snakes Bribey Island game and results coming through as they come to hand. It's time now for another song, and we'll be back to talk more sport. In Excess by my side. It's 16 minutes to 9. You listen to SportsFeva with Matthew and Swampy. And Swampy, time now to talk some basketball. We're both big basketball fans, and we've got a special guest joining us in the studio.
Absolutely, Matty, and very, very honoured to have Evan Brown from the Caboolture Suns in the studio this morning. Good morning to you, Evan.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Well, our pleasure, mate. Now, for those out there who may not have run into you in your time with the Suns so far, just give us a bit of a brief rundown about yourself, mate, your basketball career, where it's been, and what's brought you to where we are now.
I coach for the Detroit Pistons. I'm an assistant strength and conditioning coach for them. I've been doing that the last 2 seasons. And previous to that, I was here in Australia. I played up in Darwin. I played QBL for the Caboolture Suns. And then I had a gig to go over to Europe and play. And Hans Gubash, who's the club president and head coach of the SBL team, he called me and wanted me to come back and help out their SBL team to get them going on the right track and get back into QBL. And so I jumped on the opportunity because I like the players here and I like the people here, and I wanted to help out their juniors as well, doing some coaching. And these school holidays coming up, I'm going to be doing some coaching clinics and trying to get some juniors out to really, develop that love for the game of basketball.
Fantastic. Now, before we get to sort of the Suns bit, and even before Australia and the Pistons, where did your basketball journey first begin? Was it in school for you back home, or so where did you first pick up the game?
I first picked it up from my dad, probably just out in the driveway playing when I was about 8 or 9 years old. But then I had really good coaches. Michael Talley was one of my head coaches. He was a member of the University of Michigan Wolverines. He was on a national championship team, and he played with Chris Webber and Jalen Rose and all those guys. So my basketball really started with some pretty good coaching. So that's why I'd like to, pass on the knowledge and skills that I know to other players. So.
Fantastic. Now, of course, the Suns a couple of seasons ago just put the QBL season on the back burner for the moment as they develop some great young juniors, and there's some wonderful things going with the rep teams there. How's that talent that you've had a chance to have a look at now for a little while? Has it impressed you, sort of some of those younger guys coming through that probably be the next generation of the Suns QBL side?
Oh, yeah. They impressed me a lot. I've been doing a lot of individuals with some of like the under-18s and under-20 players, and they're willing to work is great, and they're willing to learn. So, that's pretty much all you can ask for is them getting in the gym and working hard and staying on the right track, and they look really good. And
the girls as well, rolling along very well as well. Not to forget to mention them doing fantastic stuff with that rep side of the game as well.
Oh yeah, the girls are doing great. We actually have our next home game next Sunday against Northside Wizards at 10:30 and 2:30 or 12:30. I mean, so. Make sure you come out and check out the men's and women's team.
Absolutely worth getting on down. Now, of course, the big goal here, the end goal would be to see a Caboolture Suns team back in the QBL. You've had a bit of QBL experience both with the Suns and another team, I believe, as well, mate. You'll be ideally a feature of that QBL side once it does get back up and running, hopefully in a couple of seasons' time.
Yeah, that's the plan.
Yep.
So.
Fantastic. And given sort of, is there a timeline that you've been able to put on when we might see your Suns QBL side back in there yet, or is it just sort of as it goes?
I would really hope next season. That's what we want. We want a QBL team. So hopefully next season, and if not, definitely the season after that.
Fantastic. Now, of course, Matty and I are huge fans of the NBA in here and following the playoffs very closely. I imagine you are doing the same, mate. Are the Pistons the team you call your own, or do you follow another one?
Oh, the Pistons definitely are the team that I call my own. And all the guys, know the coaching staff. So
fantastic.
That's definitely my team. But I would say Miami would be the team that I like watching, just because they're so good, they're so talented. They got the best player in the world on their team. Even though the series is 2-2, I think Miami will close this one out in 6, and then get San Antonio again in 6 probably. So.
Just to fill you in on what's going on. Swampy, before LeBron joined Miami, he didn't even follow basketball. Now he's made himself as the biggest Miami fan of all time. So that's what there's a bit of a carry on about. I swear he's been Miami since day one. So just to fill you in on why he's carrying on like a shot. Just to ask you one more question about heading back to basketball in Australia. How do you view it? Because as a I guess from that NBL level, which has taken a hit in the last couple of years, it's fair to say there's still such a real support of basketball at that grassroots level and coming through the school. Any ideas on how we can kind of harness that enthusiasm at the school level, and because it seems to drop off after school, I've noticed. Any suggestions?
Really, just developing the love with the kids. Developing the love is the hard part. When you love the game and when you love where you work or anything like that, you enjoy going to the gym every day and you enjoy lifting weights every day, and that's the thing. So really just developing the love and staying in the gym and working out and staying on the right path and staying with the right people, and your basketball career will skyrocket, and it is contagious. Their friends see, hey, this kid is doing great things, playing basketball, in shape, and they want to join, and so that's.
How important is it for Aussie kids to have guys like the Andrew Bogut's, the Paddy Mills, and more recently the Kyrie Irvings over there doing some fantastic stuff in the NBA, and having, I suppose, someone to look up to in those guys?
Oh, yeah, that's great. Paddy Mills still being in the playoffs, in the finals. Andrew Bogut had a great run with Golden State this season after coming back from a hard injury. And so it's great to see. I love watching those guys play. And Paddy Mills, when he actually gets some minutes, he shows that he can really play, and especially in the Olympics. high scorer in the Olympic tournament. So.
I believe there was a bit of chip thrown from Bogut to Paddy Mills on Twitter the other day, saying his towel waving technique had developed beautifully, and he was the chief towel waver on the bench. But wonderful to see Paddy featuring there for the Spurs. Evan, just give us that the next home game for the Rep and the SBL guys next Sunday against the Northside Wizards.
Northside Wizards, yep.
Fantastic. Definitely encourage everyone to get on down. Evan, fantastic to have you in this morning, mate. Definitely as the season progresses and as the Suns QBL side does ramp back up again, we'd love to have you back in to give us an update. But thanks so much for taking the time and coming in this morning.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks
Cheers,
for having
Evan.
me.
Bad medicine is what I need. Bit of Bon Jovi there, Swamp. How's that? Maybe that one. Oh, it's got that pump up at the start for, bad medicine.
I think
bad medicine, have a dose of SportsFeva.
I think
No?
I like
You
that.
like that?
I like that.
Yeah.
Hasn't he gone into writing anthems for sports stadiums and selling them?
He's
now,
got
John
form. He's got form. But him and Richie Sambora are blowing at the moment, so maybe we get Richie to do something for us instead, just a bit of few guitar riffs.
He got Richie's number?
Oh, track it down.
Track it down.
Get it
You know
through.
people.
Track it down. Leave it with me, Swamp. I'll see how I go with my homework compared to yours. 3 minutes to 9 here on SportsFeva. Again, we mentioned when we're talking to Rupert, but all the best to a big friend of the show, Nick Sliney, back after injury in that Broncos lineup on the weekend. So good on Nick.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Matty. Is that Nick's first starting spot? Has he come off? I think he's come off the bench most other times, hasn't he?
He may have started once last year in maybe a corresponding game, but yeah, possibly is his just first starting game.
Tremendous player though, and has done the job every time he's come off the bench for the Broncos. So I'm for one, am just extremely excited to see him get a real shot here, and I hope he smashes it and makes that spot his own. And
if it wasn't for injury, he would have been in those
Yeah.
Broncos sides the last couple of weeks without a doubt.
And speaking of one former Dolphin doing very good things for the Broncos at the moment, how good is the big popper Dave Harler doing? Every time he's come off the bench, he brings so much to that Broncos side. He's just doing some tremendous stuff now. He's finding a bit of form and fitness.
Well, and speaking of former Dolphins, Josh Hoffman, who very disappointed. He's the first to admit he wants to play fullback for the club. He got stuck out on the wing, and he's just become a try-scoring machine. One of the best finishers in the competition.
I can tell you the Swamp Shufflers put their faith in Joshy Hoffman on the wing very early in the season, and it is paying off very much in the fantasy.
Interesting to see him. He's in the centres this week, of course, with Jack Reed injured and Hodges in state of origin duties. For a long time, I've really thought centre would be his go. We've seen him there a couple of times for the Dolphins. I think centre is where he will end up as a player. So hopefully he does some good things there on the weekend. Joshy Hoffman doing good things for the Brisbane Broncos, of course, a former Dolphin. Now, Swamp, we quickly spoke about some NBA finals, though, but the Pacers and the Heat locked up at 2-2. That's been a great series. We predicted it would be.
We said last week it was going to be a cracker of a series, and my word, it's delivered 2-2. The game before, Miami really blowing the Pacers off the court, but the Pacers getting the wood over them in the final term yesterday, so looks like it could go the distance. I predicted Miami in 6, but I wouldn't be surprised if it goes to 7, and the Spurs, of course, look to have done the business there, and they'll be through.
Similar last year, though. Heat battled through this game in 7 versus Boston, and the Thunder swept in 4. Similar setup. I'm starting to worry the Heat are going to win it again. But anyway, and in other news, there was a tip that Adam Starr was going to come back for the Gympie Devils on the weekend. Not yet.
Not yet.
But I hear it is. The boots are polished, ready to go.
Against the Bruffies.
Ooh, that'll be exciting. Now, time to thank all our guests. Rupert McCall, Peter Smith,
Evan Brown.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Swampy.
Always a pleasure.
Thank you, everyone. We'll talk to you again next Thursday. Stand by now for the national news.